to Veterans Onward to Prosperity. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Retired Anna Maria Bliven, and I have the privilege of having Paul Lawrence in our virtual studio. And Paul, I am so excited to have you a part of this show because in Mission Education Possible, what better episode to have but to educate our warriors and veterans into the benefits that they worked for. So if don't be shy, warriors and veterans, these are benefits that you work for.
That's right. I mean, the benefits are earned, right? That's the rewards for, you know, veterans have exercised the responsibility of citizenship. Now they get some of the rights that come with that. And again, think about these. These are designed to accelerate your pursuit of the American dream. So if you use the GI Bill in the way I described, you don't leave college with $100,000 in debt like your non-veteran equivalent will be. That can set you off really, really well. Further, and I know this isn't part of what we're talking about today, but the home loan guarantee allows you to buy a home with no money down, something your non-veteran friends generally cannot do. So you can just jump right over them in terms of your life and your path. So absolutely. And the most important thing I'd probably say, Anna Marie, for veterans who use the GI Bill, it's really, and you kind of hinted at this a second ago, it's really knowing what you want to do. You only have 36 months. And if you spend half the time figuring it out, you only have 30, now you have 18 months. And so knowing what you're going to do really is the one of the most important best practices to use it right.
Yes, and do you have, I think you do have a coaching service of your own, right? Where we can get in touch with you and we
Yeah.
can have that conversation?
Right. I'm gonna say the acronym PCPG. It's personal counseling and professional growth or something like that. Again, on the website that helps folks figure it out. Right. But again, there's a lot of help, but the veteran needs to own this part. Nobody can tell them exactly what's best for them. Again, but again, it's finite. It's only 36 months. There's a lot of shopping to do. Not only what I want to do, but where I want to do it. The great news is there's tremendous choices from nonprofit to profit to the specialized trade schools to, specialized training and technology. So it's all out there, but they're not all created equal. Unfortunately, some are not very good. That's the way it goes. But we trust our veterans to do so much when they're in the military. We'd expect them to be able to make sound decisions that are right for them once they leave.
Yes, and what you're describing is a pathway. It is an educational pathway that leads to a career pathway that leads to a life that you enjoy. And that's part of the American dream.
Right. Right. And I think the trick is understanding your path is probably different than your friends. So you had a lot of buddies in the service, and someone said, I'm going to state school X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to study this. And if that's not you, don't go because you want to continue to hang out with them because, you have a good time. We'll get the monthly housing allowance. There's no doubt you'll be taken care of, but you'll wake up and say, I used the benefit on something now and it really didn't get me what I wanted.
Right. And then how many years do they have? You said something about a forever GI
Right.
Bill.
In 2017, the president signed a new law. If you are in service after January 1st, 2013, your use of the GI Bill lasts forever. So you have a finite amount of benefit which you can use forever the rest of your life. Prior to that, if you served and got out before that, the GI Bill was only good for 15 years. So a lot of folks came back later. I wish I got more education. I didn't use my GI Bill. Okay. And sorry, the rules are the rules. There's no exceptions. I know people would say, I got out in December of 2012. Sorry, this is by law. Nobody has any control over that other than through the legislative process. So yeah, it's a really good benefit. The other thing too, and I don't want to blur this too much, for service connected veterans, there's something called Veterans Readiness and Employment. It used to be called vocational readiness, vocational rehabilitation and employment. Sometimes there's additional training through that under specialized circumstances. So folks might also want to look into that if they think it's relevant, especially though you have to have a service connection. So again, the details are rather complicated. Maybe that's another month's program. Uh, but it's also a very good benefit that some people end up doing both the GI Bill and VRNE.
Yes, so if you do happen to qualify for a service-connected disability, you definitely want to look into that, especially if you're one of those that say, "Oh, darn, I got out and now I don't have any more GI Bill, available." You may have an opportunity to use this other program that Paul just mentioned. Wow, wow, wow. So the benefits for veterans just keeps getting better.
Well, and it's bipartisan in its approach. That Congress folks, senators, they all know this is a good investment, right? Again, veterans do well. By and large, their unemployment tends to be below the national average. It's still too high, but it should be below the national average. They're great employees. Most companies, prefer to hire them, and all the skills in the military, by and large, translate to a great employee, right? Loyalty, dedication to the mission, show up on time, very, very focused and the like. So it really, utilized correctly, it can really be, a game changer in your life.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a couple more questions to ask you, Paul, and we'll be doing that right after these messages.